today I'm going to be working in Unreal Engine 4, and I think Alex is going to be working on. Well, Alex, what are you going to be working
I have no idea. Probably just refining. Oh wait, I'm sharing my right screen, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Keep wanting to move windows around. Yeah, probably just going to be refining the kind of pushing the visual presentation of the rifle concept sketch further.
It looks like it's got to be close to done, right?
Oh yeah, it's done. I just want to find ways to make it shinier, and that's it, pretty much. So yeah, and then I'm probably gonna start working on the next gun concept. That's it.
Uh-oh. Here we go again with the technical difficulties.
Every time, Tom. What's going on? What's going on?
There we go. All right. So yesterday we didn't stream because I got sort of preoccupied in doing some of the same kind of level building that Alex was doing a couple weeks ago. And I went ahead and built some crazy stuff and started to figure out some additional mechanics in addition to what we've got laid out in our design doc for the Bandit game. And I think that the overall plan is basically creatively explore some options for level design and then try to take both Alex's level sketch and my level sketch and make them work together as a single large level that we can then release to you guys as a sort of prototype or demo. And then we've got a bunch of other concepts that we want to explore, so we're going to be moving on here. And then we'll be looking for feedback from everybody to see what you guys think. So I laid this out using BSP. Really hadn't played with BSP too much in the past. We worked with Supergrid a little bit on one of the projects, and the other one we just used instruction scripts and some prefabricated components that we had built to build the levels because we knew pretty well what the environment was going to be. So we just started building shapes and stuff, but I think that if we could go back, we would have done it entirely as BSP. We would have had the entire thing built and navigable as just Greybox, and then gone back through and replaced it with actual content. So I'm just going to jump in real quick and show you guys what we've got. You can see these George Clooney character, poorly animated, but animated nonetheless. And
let me correct you, much better animated than the initial session.
Yeah, still not top tier the way that we want it, but really the point of that exercise was to figure out how rigging and animation works in Blender and the pipeline for bringing it into Unreal Engine 4, which is actually, for me, it was a lot better than Modo because we're only maintaining the one content asset for the character, which is the single blend file, and then we export that to FBX, and then we bring it in, and it just converts all of the actions inside of the Blender file into animations that are named. The names are the names are pretty long, but what it does is it maintains that single point of reference for all of your content. So now that we've got the animation blueprint working, and we can actually bring it into the engine pretty quickly. I mean, it takes about 2 minutes to import, but we can iterate on these animations and really start to push them to be more in line with the original intent of the character itself.
Yeah, and if you're my user, let me translate this to my users. Actions in Blender is basically animations, the different animation tracks that are assigned to the skeleton, all in one file. So as my user, I would be using basically keeping different Maya files for every type of animation. Simply because, you know, if something corrupts, I don't want my entire skeleton and all my other animations to die. And if you're my user, you know that things break very often. So in Blender, what I saw from Tom, what Tom was doing is basically he had all of the animations in one file, which looked really nice and organized. And yeah, basically bring the entire thing into into Unreal, and it just worked magically.
Yeah, let me show that real quick because I think that the value of it, like, you could see, like, this is my import source folder, and it's got there's a couple of additional things in here. Like, this is when we were trying to workflow from Maya. We had a bunch of different FBX files. But if I open up the single Blender file, like, you'll notice I don't have 7 different FBX files that are like at animation name or underscore animation name. It's just this one Blender file. And all of my, if I go into my dope sheet view and I switch to the action editor, you can see, like, here's all my animations right here. And they're all self-contained. So if I want to change the weighting on a bone set to smooth it out or something, I could just re-export all my animations, and assuming that the new blend or the new weight painting works well, there's no, I don't have to backtrack. I don't have to re-export 25 different files. I just go up here, say File, Export as FBX, select my target FBX, export it, and then back over in Unreal Engine, I can come into wherever I imported to, which I always forget the path. There we go. Come into here and just say import. Select that FBX that I exported, and then tell it to not import the mesh because the mesh isn't changing. Or if I change the weight paints, the weighting, and then it will just go through and it will replace all of the named references in here. So it's really well. You get that nice streamlined workflow. And for me, this is the one thing that was lacking in
Modo.
Yeah, in Modo is you have to export each one of those animations separately. And I even sent, back when it was Luxology, I sent support a request to have the feature added because they do support actors and actions, but for whatever reason, they just didn't want to patch their FBX export to support it. And they didn't do it in Collada either. I mean, it exports the action groups as named groups, but they don't include any of the animation here. It's really strange. So anyway, let me show you around real quick. And this is a nice little segue for what I'm going to be working on. So here we've got a little roundabout, which is in addition to the road component that Alex had in his. This might be one way to escape death by automobile. And if the cars take up half of the road, I mean, nothing in this game is going to be to scale. We're going to have almost human-sized cockroaches. So, but the car comes down, goes around here. So this might be one way to escape that untimely death, is to just jump on the middle of the roundabout here.
And before you go further, let me elaborate on the up to scale. We deliberately want to go a step away from realistic scale and play with the idea of levels built out of these suburban components, like a rusty fridge sitting in somebody's backyard could become this giant chunk of a level where you run into the fridge and then you run out of it, and then suddenly there is a road that leads from the fridge that takes you to somebody's house. And basically just going full balls to the wall, abstract, and using this what you typically consider as props, using them as sets and locations.
Yep. So one of the main points of the level designs here is we want every new avenue to kind of feel like a secret that you're uncovering, and we also wanted to play around with timing so that if you can find a shortcut for a way to get somewhere in the level, that there's something that you know is valuable, that you have the capability of doing that. So we've got things like this little overhang here that has a branch that walks down there. Maybe this is a piece of a rebar or an I-beam or something sticking out of the wall, this water treatment plant. And then you could also jump over here to that side, but we don't really know what's over there. Or you can just come down into the sewer and explore these areas for yourself. And little gaps in the pipe that we might want to close up or not. Who knows?
Hey, you did add the second joint, did you?
Yeah. I worked just a little bit more yesterday. And then we closed it off with 2 big boulders for now, but these might actually grow into like a whole sub-level. Who knows? It's kind of fun to play around with, just being down in here. You really get a nice sense of space. And this is another one of those things where we're talking about playing around with scale, you know, these giant pipes that probably don't make a lot of sense realistically. So then you can run over here and come up, and you can see that there's some kind of a processing scaffolding, something over there. And if you run up here, you can see that we have a reveal for a section of the level that might be very difficult to get to. So players sort of led, well, how do I get over there? How do I get down there? Like, you might be able to complete this level with, you know, only 3 pieces of trash in your bucket, but if you could get down there, you might have 5. So there's a lot of stuff like that. And when I'm blocking these out, I started playing almost immediately with distorting the angles and creating a lot of curves and, you know, angular movement. Alex's, if you remember, is very square and just a very basic block out to get the flow of the level right. And I sort of cheated and went ahead a little bit. But all right, so we just keep moving along. Run over here. Maybe try to get down there. And we will have fall damage probably, so just jumping down is not an option. Well, I think like super distant fall damage, like if you were to jump from here, like you shouldn't survive.
Well, yeah, like super distant fall damage, you shouldn't survive it. But I think for a smaller drop, like from here to like down there, you would actually lose some of your garbage, some of your trash. So it's a way to punish a player without killing them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe you just lose a heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take, you know, one. So what I was trying to play around with yesterday was, I've got this section that I want to get to over there, but I don't want to have a direct connect to it. I don't want to just have a path you run up to get over there. So I just set up this little cylinder thinking that I could bump it. And have it fall over, watch it land. So it worked that time. But it's very unpredictable. And now I can jump up here and I can run across. I can go up here to this suburb area and maybe loot these houses or their backyards or whatever. But most commonly what happens is that big white cylinder just falls off the level. See, yeah, it's gone already. So that's not good. So now I've got to figure out a way to get. Uh-oh. I might actually be stuck. You'll notice a lack of sound effects on my side. So what I'm going to be doing is building, or what I'm going to start doing, because I probably won't have time to finish it today, is I'm going to build an animatable component so that this could be, that white cylinder over there could be like a dead tree that you can push over and know when you design the level that you'll have pretty good control over how it falls. Because we don't want I'm gonna try to land it one more time.
The stream is freezing slightly. Do you have anything running that eats up your bandwidth?
Yeah, I got everything running.
Yeah, the stream froze for me.
Yeah, I can't really shut anything else off.
Alright. I see Blender now.
Yeah. So that's what commonly happens, is that it falls off there. Then I had to put the pickup for the bubble gum. So I come over here. Back up. Jump back up. Alright. Check on that. looks like it's totally hung up now. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, so we're about 30 seconds. Okay, so in my blueprints folder, I'm going to make a new one called, or what are we going to call these? Interactables.
What are you planning on building today?
So I'm going to build a component that allows me to select a static mesh that'll have its own collider. And it'll have a defined pivot point. It'll be separate.
It will drop it down, basically.
Yeah, and then we'll have another point that'll say, animate to a certain position.
Cool.
And then we would also use it over here. I want to make it so that we can use it as well for this I-beam component. Because, when you're trying to escape with the trash can, you can't jump. You can climb angled graded surfaces, but you can't jump. So you need to set the level up for your escape while you're playing.
Yep.
Which should be selective. You shouldn't knock over every single thing that you see. You should be selective in the things that you're going to knock over and then plan out your escape route. And this level doesn't have an exit currently, but it very, just put it right there. So, all right. Call it a knockdown? Sure, why not? Okay, so I know I'm gonna have some vectors, or vertex 3Ds. Anchor, sure, why not? And then target. Yeah, I think this makes sense.
Does it?
I don't know. We're going to find out here in a second. I do wish you could colorize these.
Colorize what?
The widgets for the vectors.
No.
Yeah, I'll probably don't debug it. In fact, let's do that right
now. Can I steal your screen share for a second and show what I'm working on?
Sure.
Let me know when I can talk. And my Photoshop freezes. Of course. Of course!
Of course. Alright, you're good to go.
Okay, so basically I'm trying to come up with a very basic color palette for the rifle, and I grabbed an actual image of a rifle, and I'm using it as a reference for what my scheme could be. And you can see like this butt part is dark, so I'm using a darker gray for this area. This area is dark, so let's see how it looks with if this thing becomes dark gray. So very, very basic and just something to enhance our line work. I don't particularly like it this way, so let's go back. At this point, I'm not even, I'm not even worried about getting the flats right or perfect. All I'm doing here is I'm trying to come up with a scheme that works, and that's all I have.
I'll leave your screen up for a bit and I'll get this set up.
All right. So yeah, it's all about shape division and kind of a nice solid separation between elements, and generally it takes a little bit of a trial and error to figure it out. Maybe this entire thing could be dark. Yeah, I like that better. And then we can also do stuff like this. Maybe not. So this area would also be dark. And I'm using a very limited color palette, just two colors. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to stick with them. We can step away from that later and add more variety. Right now I just want it to be as basic as humanly possible to be able to quickly define my values and where certain things go. Maybe the rail could be dark. I don't actually like that, maybe. Are you ready? Because I have nothing else to say. I'm just brushing things away.
Good. Boy, I probably could have done that with a scene in OBS, huh?
Maybe.
Switch screens, yeah. Remind me of that
Yeah.
later.
I will.
It's so much nicer to have a responsive blueprint editor.
Wait, you didn't have a responsive blueprint editor before?
You know,
Oh right, your Mac days.
all right. Oh, hang on.
What's bothering you, Tom?
Well, I wonder if I should expose a control for scale on the static mesh, or if we should just plan for them to be the size that they're going to be.
I would expose the scale, because you never know. Maybe because everything is so scale independent in our case. Like, we could have a stop sign that is the size of the building.
Right.
So
Or
might
should
as well.
Yeah, or should I just use the scale of the... See, because if I scale this up right now...
You're breaking up a bit. Use the scale of what?
If I use the scale of the actor itself...
So just scale the blueprint? I would just expose a scale parameter for the mesh, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a little bit extra work, but helps to avoid surprises. I don't like surprises. I hate surprises, Tom.
I know. Did you check the music volume on the stream?
No. It's good.
Music, by the way, is brought to you by Wendy Shu. You can search for her on SoundCloud.
I think I might want to start working on the or doing some work on Rocky the Skyman.
Oh yeah?
Maybe closer to the weekend or so. I was kind of getting it was on my to-do list for the past few weeks, and I was getting an itch for it, but obviously Bandit is our main priority. I don't feel like I explored all the potential level opportunities. I only spent maybe an hour building that initial level that we had, and it was with the outdated set of animations, and I was still trying to figure out what the level flow would be. So I'm gonna do at least another couple sessions on Bandit level design.
Cool.
And what I like about the Rockety Skyman is the puzzle design, or the kind of the traps setup. I think it's a perfect opportunity to create a few trap blueprints. And I don't think we've mentioned this before, but Rockety Skyman is a side game jam project that I worked on with my friend and our patron, Bob. Yeah, and it's a mobile game where you fly around on a jetpack, and if you touch something, you die. and it's really hard. It's really, really freaking hard. So yeah, maybe on Friday or Saturday we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a good playthrough of it and talk a little bit about the puzzle design.
Awesome. Oh. All right, so now we need some kind of way to interact with this thing. Yeah.
Press E to knock over.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of work like lootable, huh?
Yeah, technically.
I need a variable there or not. Oh, that's right. That's what
Did you do something wrong again?
no. I think if we know it's the player, it's fine. Tell me about your feelings, Alex.
I have feelings. That's about it. Time to stand up or breathe or something.
Yeah, it's time to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, basically I'm just starting to add secondary colors and stuff.
Drag that over.
Drag what over?
Oh, hey, you're going for the desert camo style.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
the Mars gun, right?
Well, no, there's no direct.
Originally.
No, that wasn't a part of the project that we worked on.
Oh, it wasn't.
Like, I did it just for fun. Yeah, that was a part of
This is Alex's fun. It's 100 hours of line drawing.
You're breaking up, dude.
Sorry.
All I've heard was 100 hours. But yeah, it was significantly less than 100 hours. But yeah, I like line drawings. So getting a little bit of a darker value and going through darkening certain parts. And I'm keeping them on separate layers so I can basically use them as a mask.
After you do the flats, would you go in and texture fill those areas?
I don't know. No idea. Just having fun. Oh, Photoshop froze again. I might. Oh, come on, Photoshop. I'm gonna go back to CS3 or something. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It might be Zoom that's causing the problem.
Yeah, I don't think it happens. Well, maybe not as often, but anyway, I'm looking at this and I like the highlight gradient. So what I might do is give it a little bit of like that shading, like as you can see here, and then another layer, and with just a soft brush, we can start doing things like this.
Yeah, man. Yep.
And then using eraser, just I want to punch my Cintiq in the face, even though it's not. Okay, there you go. And then using eraser, start erasing it, and then just very subtle. That type of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Whatever, but it's a little bit too early for that. First, I'm just working on flats. And I like this glow, the green glow around the line. But I'm not sure if it's gonna end up a little bit too easy. I can also experiment with different types of effects. Right now it's set to screen. We can do overlay. Yeah, something like this. That's actually kind of cool. If you look at it, it's super heavy, but it's interesting nevertheless. The interesting thing about the overlay is that it doesn't brighten it, it just brightens the value that's underneath. And that's how I'm gonna lose like next half an hour just like playing with fucking blend modes.
Well, as long as you acknowledge it. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Alright, back to flats.
Oh no, did it again, didn't I?
What did you do again?
I did the same thing when I built the loot thing. I was working. I was trying to work with the interfaces and instance. It's not.
Oopsie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we're going to do interact action. We're going to check to make sure that our reference is valid, because we're going to be setting that in the overlap. And then we're going to check to see if it implements our interface. If it does, we're going to go ahead and invoke the interact method, and then we're going to clear that last interactable out so that you can't inadvertently double tap E really quickly to interact with place. Which is something we learned while we were doing the loop.
Your sound is kind of poopy.
Oh, I'm sorry. It'll be over with soon.
So I'm currently. Can you share my screen? I'm experimenting with soft gradients to kind of create an ambient occlusion field, and I don't think it really works with this glowing line work that I have going. And I kind of like the glowing line work too much. So my intention here is I don't think I want to go like a hyper realistic rendering because there's no freaking point. I'm going to be doing a 3D model of this. Instead, I want to have fun with the way the line work looks. So I'm tempted to just stay with the glowy line work, which means that I'm not going to do the ambient occlusion pass. Screw it. So yeah, I'll keep it rather flat. And,
hard edges instead of soft gradients.
Yeah, I mean there's still gonna be a little bit of a soft gradation, but it's not gonna be ambient occlusion pass. I clicked on create new layer about 10 seconds ago. Oh, and now I have a new layer. Amazing what technology can do these days.
Tiger stripes.
Yeah, I got Martian pink tiger stripes. I'm just having fun. Hey, why not? Let's add some green, because why not? Probably having too much fun here. So what we can do is, so I drew these tiger stripes, but now I can like distort it to make it more, maybe not. Whatever. This is not going to be an actual camo pattern, and if I were to do one, I'd probably do it separately. Not as I'm trying to actually do a render. So let's go back to our flats. I'm glad that you're streaming so people don't have to hear all my Photoshop noises.
I think people tune in just for those.
Yeah, then we should change it up.
Okay, so we're just about wrapping up here today. I've got text messages I have to reply to, but I do want to show you guys where I'm at.
So they have Snapchats to reply to too.
Yeah, Snapchats. Because I'm an old person. All right, so we've got our knockdown BP, and I do need to add to this a sphere component.
I have no idea what Snapchat does, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Maybe you can have a separate stream on that. Tom and Alex trying to figure out Snapchat.
Right. So,
You were saying?
what was I saying? Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm an asshole.
Yep, I'm just adding our overlap target here. Get that, say vector length, and then set the radius of our sphere. So here we got this.
What's going on?
I don't know. It's like in my preview.
Come on, Tom.
Oh. I may eventually want to displace this static mesh to pivot on anchor A. I'm going to have to play around with it because what I'm going to end up getting into is the overlaps and all that stuff works fine. But when I go to animate to destinations, what I'm going to be doing is taking a retained vector for the A point and the B point, and then lerping those 2 points towards their destination. And then I'm going to have to calculate the rotation of the object to try to achieve those 2 points, kind of how an IK solver might work. And that's going to be a lot of math in blueprints, but it's okay. Doing it live, not so sure. I'm going to get it wrong about 600 times before I get it right. But we will explore it together, probably in the next stream.
Sweet. I'm excited.
If I were to run this right now, it doesn't do anything. Except maybe that would do. There we go. So my interaction model works. And this needs one more check. Oop. And this is kind of a fine point too. Like you'll see I'm using tick here to do this. I could set up my own loop, but I think from my previous videos you guys probably don't like to do that. So I'm just using tick, and how I usually do that is I put my state variable inside of the method that actually performs the augmentation, so that this graph out here, my event graph, stays cleaner. The mess that you might have inside of the blueprint itself is more manageable. You know, like we could nest this in a. If there were more checks that need to be done, we could nest this in a macro, clean that up. These lerps could all be put into macros as well. Although lerp is pretty well contained. See how the graph can project up. So then what I'll be doing is translating the A point, or translating the object to the A point, and then rotating the B point around that, and then using the inverse rotation to tilt the object. In some cases, we won't have tilt; it'll just be a slide motion or something like that, and that simulation should still disable for both of those cases. So now, if I run it, we shouldn't see hello anymore until I interact. There you go. It should be animating right now. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
All right. One more thing I want to show. This level is actually pretty big. It doesn't look very big from the top, but there's actually one of the things that I wanted to push was having a sense of verticality. So in my level, like there's a lot of overlapping sections. Like you could have something down in here, and then climb back out of here. You guys saw the sewer system. There's a lot of verticality there. Also, just about every chunk in here has some way to diverge from the main path. So you can end up over here. Lots of little secret areas. I want when you're playing this, I want it to feel like, you know, you might be the first person to have discovered this little area. Over here, jump across this, and then you're at the base of that tree. You can't climb out of here. That's okay. Oh. All right, good. And I think that's it for me today. How did you fare? Where are you at?
What?
Still doing flats, huh?
Yeah, so you can see I'm kind of getting close to something I'm happy with. The main goal here is I'm avoiding areas of excessive contrast. So for example, if I grab like a dark gray and I apply it to this part, you can see, and now if I zoom out, this part sticks out like a sore thumb, and I don't want these areas of too much contrast. And basically, using very similar values to create a color scheme and have this nice flat weapon. And then once I'm happy with the color separation, I'm gonna go in and start pushing certain areas for more contrast, but only in the places where I need to. And I'm already defining some of that here, where I have just flat black shapes. But yeah, the idea is that I don't want it to be too contrasty. But these gray areas are most likely going to be the ones that I'm going to push further, because as you can see here, the clip is pitch black compared to the rest of the gun. And yeah, that's all I have.
Cool.
I'm going to fiddle with it and continue pushing it. And then tomorrow I'll probably do the other side.
All right, thanks everybody for joining. Check for the video on YouTube later, and remember to hit the subscribe button and just follow on Twitch if you think of it. And oh yeah, and try to have a great day today.
That's gonna be easy.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.